Ready for the test? Starship test campaign continues. Booster test stand mystery solved, Falcon Heavy launches a breakthrough mission, and NASA surprises us with new Osiris Rex revelations. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It, let's dive right in. Starship updates. Here we are again with the second orbital Starship. It's been just 6 months since the inaugural launch and we are on tenter hooks for round 2 of the most powerful rocket ever constructed. You see those busy bees working hard on the booster's forward dome? By the time you're diving into this episode, there is a high chance that all work has concluded, with both the hot staging ring and the ship assembled atop one another. Now, why would I think so? There is a fresh Notmar out. What now? A notice to mariners, that is our seafaring equivalent of an airspace's notice to airmen. Essentially, it's a stay out sign for sailors, ensuring they don't accidentally sail into, well, a potential Starship fireworks display. The next such Notmar will be active on October 17th. Wait, that is today. So is today finally the launch day? Should I get my popcorn ready? Not quite. The closed area is just too small for a safe booster splashdown. What's the game then? We're not fortune tellers, but the options aren't endless. Static fire of the booster sounds offbeat. Especially considering that Booster 9 had its fair share, and trust me, every such firing carries the dreaded "oh no, we have to replace a Raptor" risk. But what if, just if, by the time you're seeing this, the Starship was restacked? Odds are this Notmar was or is for a glamorous wet dress rehearsal. What's a WDR, you ask? Think of it as a rocket's ultimate test. Tanks brimming with propellant, a near complete countdown, but no firing of the engines. Everything just stops a few seconds before the liftoff in preparation for the real deal. Swinging back to that Notmar, there is one more contender in the ring. A static fire of Ship 26 that's chilling at suborbital pad B. The restricted area for such a small test is on the broader side, but perhaps SpaceX is thinking better safe than sorry, right? The clock for the road closure is ticking from 8 AM to 8 PM Texas time. Assuming that nothing changed and you are watching this on the day of the premiere, the road should be closed right now. So how can you know if that's the real deal and we're about to see some methane action? Look out for the notice to Boca Chica villagers about an overpressure event. This heads up typically appears a day before any testing that includes methane. It lets everyone in the area know that in the worst case scenario, SpaceX will pay for their new windows. Going back to Ship 26's hangout, the suborbital testing site, we're finally cracking the enigma of the construction near the tank farm. The mystery was solved after our newest flyover thanks to Redline Helicopter who make it possible. Want to book your own ride at Starbase and find the latest mystery, or just enjoy one of the coolest views in the world? You'll find the link below, I highly recommend it. In our latest speculation session, we talked about this spot being either covered with concrete to mitigate dust, or, and here's the thrilling bit, a new test pad for the boosters. As much as we'd love a fresh testing playground, it turns out it's just Starbase's newest parking lot. So our dust-busting theory? Not that much off the mark, it seems. Currently, a good chunk of the launch site crew park their cars on the side of Highway 4. Though, if you'd ask me, I would leave my car there during a static fire. As the test phases for both vehicles at the launch site draw to a close, SpaceX is already stacking up on next-gen prototypes. And that brings our focus to the build site. You remember what I told you the last time we were here, right? About how the ship's nose cone often kickstarts its production? Well, rewind to October 11th. Back then, Ship 32's nose cone waltzed into the high bay, closely shadowed by its payload section. Fast forward less than 3 hours later and voila! Both segments are mated, beginning the production of this prototype. I can't wait to see the tweaks in this version compared to its siblings. Any guesses on possible updates you'd like to see? Drop them down in the comments. Now, the very day Ship 32's story began, another contender stole a bit of the spotlight. A little past 2 PM, a booster test platform made its way into the massive megabay. We sometimes call that thing the booster puck shocker. Our bets were on booster 12, but plot twist, booster 11 snagged the lead. Over a 4-week stay in the bay, the prototype got pimped up, mirroring booster 10's enhancements, yes, including that CO2 tank and the fire suppression system vents. After it was placed on the stand, the prototype embarked on a short journey to Massey's test range. Moving the entire test equipment might raise some eyebrows, but give it a thought, it is kind of a stroke of genius, isn't it? A mobile test stand is actually a brilliant move. It eradicates the necessity of an additional transport stand just to ferry prototypes to Massey's. That's also one less crane on the rental or purchase list needed for prototype hoisting. It's all about streamlining the process, cutting out the redundant steps. Upon reaching Massey's, no time was wasted in the testing campaign. By October 13th, the methane tank was already brimming with liquid nitrogen. If this campaign is following the same track as Booster 10, we're anticipating 2 more nitrogen fills. One solely for the LOX tank and the last one for both tanks. Only 10 days have passed from the arrival to the rollback of Booster 10. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we will see a replay of this timeline. Now, a peek at the Massey's shots from the bird's eye view might trigger an aha moment. Notice what's missing? Bingo! Ship 29 has left the site, but where is it now? Ah, there it is, gloriously standing in the rocket garden. After all, it looks like last week's test at Massey's wasn't aborted, considering the ship's close proximity to the Raptor installation stand. Yes. As of now, this Starship exhibition boasts a quartet of prototypes. From the leftmost, Booster 4, then Ship 20, the cosmic pair that unfortunately remained Earthbound. Right next to them is Ship 29, with Ship 28 as its immediate neighbor positioned at the engine stand. A closer look reveals a lot of scaffolding near Ship 28, signaling that there is still some work required before Ship 29 can take its place. Moving to Mega Bay 2, we snagged a photo of the 2 main beams, known as girders, ready to become a part of a gantry crane. Not long after our Starbase photoshoot, the first crane was completed. Mere hours ticked by before the assembly of its twin was finished. These behemoths are necessary for transporting sections within the building. If no delays are encountered, we should see the first booster segments inside this building before the year's end. Transitioning to the Sanchez site unveils work being done on the new stands. The first point of interest here is the engine installation stand. It already received its railing. Right next to it are the screen panels, which provide a barrier when lifting an engine to prevent injuries. The only major thing that is missing is the 10 arms securing the boosters during installation. We are thinking that this stand will eventually find a home in Mega Bay 2. Adjacent to it lies the engine work platform. Workers use it to safely lift Raptors up to the engine bay, streamlining this tedious process. To the right of the white stand is a pair of heavy black stands, considerably more robust than their engine mounting counterparts. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that the first one has not only been equipped with 20 arms, but some have already been fitted with hold-down clamps. Do you know what other structure is also equipped with 20 hold-down clamps? That is right, the orbital launch mount. We just might be getting a front row seat to the birth of a booster static fire platform. If not that, then certainly a stand at least capable of conducting spin prime tests. The missing piece of the puzzle, however, is pinpointing the precise location SpaceX envisions for these test stands. We've already discovered that the expansion at the suborbital site culminated in a mere parking lot, almost ruling it out as the potential candidate if SpaceX keeps it that way. Massey's would seem like a logical choice for the test stand's home. Nestling it here would enable SpaceX to conduct spin primes without the need to shut down the entire launch complex, a procedure they can undertake only so many times per year. However, this choice would likely eliminate the possibility of static fires. To fire vehicles there, SpaceX would need to install additional tanks for the methane storage, but that's not even the biggest issue. Given that stand's proximity to other prototypes and the ground systems, integrating some form of water deluge system or even a flame trench would become a must. This means either digging up a massive hole and dealing with the groundwaters or creating and certifying another water deflector. Both options seem improbable. Nonetheless, it's something worth keeping an eye out for, as developing such a stand might signal a significant acceleration in Starbase's testing cadence. Especially considering that SpaceX is working on 2 of them. Positioned slightly to the back, the inaugural segments of a new ship transport stand emerge, with its purpose being rather self-explanatory. Yes, it is for moving ships. Further deep into the Sanchez site lies the ground fabrication building. While we looked deeper into its intricacies just a week ago, it is worth showing you a bird's eye view of it. From this angle, you can easily see just how little work is left before this building's completion. Venturing further down Highway 4 in the direction of Massey's test site, you'll stumble upon a location formerly known as the Ad Astra School. This establishment was an educational experiment created by SpaceX, mainly Elon Musk, where he tried out his own special educational curriculum. However, this endeavor did not achieve the envisioned success, and by 2022, Musk had severed ties with the institution, leading to its name change. Nowadays, it is known as Astra Nova. Our sharp-eyed photographer John captured an interesting development in this area. This isn't your everyday house. It appears that the structure was created using a 3D printing technique with concrete as the primary material. The building's exact purpose remains shrouded in mystery. But considering SpaceX's previous activity regarding 3D printing at Starbase, it is not too far-fetched to assume that they have something to do with this. What is your take on this? Could this be an extension of the school's infrastructure? Or perhaps SpaceX is stealthily working on a fresh project, possibly a new mission control hub? Is this preparation work for 3D printing on other worlds like the Moon and Mars? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read as many as I can. And here's a little task for you. YouTube might have unsubscribed you without your knowledge. Not kidding, they seem to do this frequently. Very important task, double check that subscribe button so that you don't miss our updates. While you're checking, hit that like button and consider becoming a wise supporter for exclusive SpaceX updates. Everyone gets the same perks regardless of your contribution. And with it, you get access to daily Starbase photo galleries, now including aerial and ground photos of SpaceX's progress and countless other extras on top. The next flyover will likely happen on the day you watch this episode. No matter how much you decide to give, everyone gets the same supporter content and access. You decide what you want to give. The link to our Patreon page is in the description. Thanks to all the supporters who help fulfill dreams on our team. We can't thank you enough. You rock. Back to the news. On October 13th, Ship 30, just kidding. It was another SpaceX rocket. On October 13th, Falcon Heavy took off from Florida's iconic launch complex 39A. Why? Twice postponed and even once on the brink of cancellation, the Psyche mission dodged the budgetary axe and secured its spot in history, almost hitting a bad weather block for another 2 years. Weather, it's the one thing that impacts us daily, and for space enthusiasts like us, it means so much more. Whether you're traveling miles for a launch or eagerly awaiting for the docking of a Dragon capsule to the ISS, weather changes everything. That's where MyRadar comes into play. Need to know if your launch day is rain-free? MyRadar has the answers. Say goodbye to unexpected showers. The orbital tracking. Simply input a space track ID and there it is! Real-time tracking of any satellite or module you fancy. Imagine you're by the water, heart racing for a summer launch. And suddenly MyRadar alerts you of nearby lightning, prioritizing your safety. Or just keen on knowing about the storm on the horizon, MyRadar will tell you if it's just passing by or here to stay. They've even taken it a step further, launching their own satellite. These satellites capture images and monitor events like wildfires and hurricanes, all easily accessible within the app. Space, weather, safety, MyRadar ties it all together. Dive in, explore, and you might just discover an indispensable companion for all your adventures. Space-related or covering your private parties and holidays. Stay ahead, stay informed with MyRadar. You're not just informed, you're prepared. Alright, back to Psyche. With a name like Psyche, you're likely putting 2 and 2 together. Yep, this craft is shooting for an asteroid named, you guessed it, Psyche. You'd think that NASA or acronym specialists would have coined a zesty acronym for such a pivotal mission, but no, it is just Psyche. Regardless of the name, this mission's importance isn't about developing tech for a fancy moon base or a Martian colony. It's part of the US Discovery program, quenching our constant thirst to understand the universe. Remember Lucy? How about InSight or Mars Pathfinder? Bingo! These are all part of the Discovery program because, you know, sometimes it is not about making a profit. That is why we need NASA. Psyche is on a recon mission to an asteroid behemoth out in a place known as the main asteroid belt. Have you watched The Expanse? Great show, and that is where the Belters come from. Named 16 Psyche, this celestial body is believed to be a protoplanet's exposed iron core. Think of it as a cosmic cheat sheet to peep inside Earth's core without, well, dissecting our home. I've done a whole topic about it on a recent episode. Check the link in the description or click this card. As expected from SpaceX, the launch was a textbook success. Falcon Heavy nailed its trajectory. The only not so bright thing about this mission is that the fuel-hungry mission profile forced the center core to take a plunge into the ocean, as every time on a Falcon Heavy. But in true SpaceX style, the side boosters made a cinematic touchdown at landing zones 1 and 2. I watched it live. Seriously, who needs sci-fi movies when you've got SpaceX launches? Elevating to new horizons, this marked Falcon Heavy's official maiden voyage into interplanetary space. Of course, I am not counting the time when Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster was sent into space, because why not? It is orbiting the sun, sometimes passing Mars. So Felix, Psyche's out there. What is the ETA for those tantalizing first pictures? A quick year or maybe 2? Buckle up, we've got a bit more space road tripping ahead. The spacecraft's epic 3.5 billion kilometers or 2.2 billion miles for our freedom-loving viewers' journey means a rendezvous with Psyche is set for 2029. Mark your calendars, we'll be diving into this in What About It episode 800. Once it's there, it's game on for a 26-month marathon of cosmic surveying. Expect some epic pictures that'll show Psyche's metallic rock terrain. And for the science buffs, a spectrometer will dissect what its surface is made of. But the crown jewel, the magnetometer, probing if Psyche has its own magnetic field. You see, such a magnetic field can hint at a liquid metallic core, much like Earth's shield protecting us against cosmic radiation. For Psyche, it will be like a big neon sign saying, "I was once a planetary core." And that's merely scratching the surface. These space missions tend to drop unexpected discoveries on us. I can't wait to see the first results of Psyche studies. Staying on the topic of galactic expeditions, have you heard of the latest happenings with the Osiris Rex mission? A journey that spanned 7 years. This mission aimed to snag rock samples from the not-so-big asteroid known as Bennu. At 4.5 billion years old, it is one of the oldest objects in the solar system, being essentially a time capsule from its creation. Fast forward to September 24th, after traveling through space for a staggering 6.5 billion kilometers or 4 billion miles, the return capsule grazed our planet once again. It made its touchdown at Utah's test and training range. But that was just the beginning of its second journey. The capsule then took a ride to the ultra-sanitary confines of the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Here, in clean room conditions, it was slowly disassembled over an intensive 10-day span, which actually took longer than expected. Why the extra time, you ask? The devil is in the details. The act of securing those samples from Bennu wasn't a walk in the park. Osiris Rex's probe came equipped with a special robotic arm, crowned with an innovative sample canister. For the acronym lovers, the whole assembly was called TAG-SAM, or Touch and Go Sample Acquisition Mechanism. Upon making contact with Bennu, TAG-SAM played its trump card. A burst of gaseous nitrogen forced the asteroid's fragments into its chamber. When the nitrogen's job was done, TAG-SAM sealed its treasure and nestled it safely into the return capsule. Its protective pica heat shield then ensured those precious samples stayed safe from the extreme heat of atmospheric re-entry. And here's the twist in the tale. After peeling back that shield, researchers found an unexpected bounty. Seems our touch and go maneuver wasn't just successful, it was overachieving. As seen in pictures provided by NASA, extra chunks of Bennu's surface had settled atop the container. Call it good luck or just a coincidence. This gave the researchers an opportunity to explore the samples before they even peeked inside the main vault. How can someone say that science isn't exciting? Looking into the initial samples unveiled an abundance of carbon and water, elements we recognize as the building blocks of life. Now hold on to your space helmets, this doesn't imply we found life on Bennu. However, it may give us an understanding of how life might have taken root on our blue marble, aka Earth. But here is where things get even more electrifying. We're merely scratching the surface. NASA anticipates a few more nail-biting weeks before the main chamber is opened. If they manage to retrieve at least 60 grams or 2.1 ounces of rocky sample, the mission will be a success. Yet whispers in the space community hint that Osiris Rex might have outdone itself once again, potentially seizing a whopping 250 grams or 8.8 ounces of rocks. This thing rocks! In the month ahead, this treasured loot will be meticulously indexed. And in a gesture that emphasizes international collaboration, these fragments will be shared with eager scientists spanning over 30 countries. What a time to be alive, or rather to study life's beginnings. That's it for today. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe for more awesome content. This is what fuels the algorithm and helps us immensely. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store, link is in the description. And if you want to train your space IQ even further, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. The lasers. Schockpacker. Pimped up. A choice. Sprint primes. Trust me.